As always, I'm getting the special messages from behind the scenes Sam here, telling me when we're going live. And there's a little bit of a lag because it's, texting computer stuff. All right, Sam just informs me that we're live. So welcome to the Thursday Night Live. We're a week off of where we usually are, so hopefully everybody found their way here. And obviously that's a stupid thing to say, because if you're here, you found your way here. And if you're not, it's like raise your hand if you're not here kind of a thing. First off, thanks as always to Tight Bond. Where are they? Right there. Tight Bond for underwriting this and keeping this free for you. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, here's the deal. I am, as much as I can, I'm going to toggle back and forth between YouTube and WWGOA.com, but I will primarily be on WWGOA.com to look for questions. So if you really want to make sure that your question gets answered, then post it at GOA.com and I'll for sure see it, because sometimes I miss the YouTube questions. I was in Vegas last month, right? July, yep, for the big AWFS show. Cool stuff. One of the things I'm always walking around looking for is what's the showstopper of the year. And in 2001, SawStop, without question. That's when it was first rolled out, and people were 11 billion deep trying to see what SawStop was all about. And then not too many years ago, the Shaper Origin, that's the handheld CNC, that very cool device. So this year, a really neat thing I saw, and of course I'm a CNC guy, so it caught my attention, the Yeti, Y-E-T-Y, Smart Bench. It looks almost like sawhorses, but it's a CNC. It's portable, the whole thing breaks down. It'll handle a 4x8 sheet, retails for around $6,000. It's really cool. I really want to learn more about it. I'd love to get my hands on one and run it for a little bit. Just the whole concept, it's very different. Don't imagine the normal gantry that a CNC has. It's a whole different configuration. Really neat. Or just look it up online. Google knows where it is. Yeti Smart Bench. All right, let's jump into preguntas and see what we have for questions. So on YouTube, Yvonne Thomas says, is poplar a good wood to use to make a guitar? Maybe not. I'm going to say it's not your best choice. So here's the deal. Poplar is a hardwood by scientific classification. It is a deciduous wood. And what that means is deciduous wood only means that those trees lose their leaves in the wintertime. Coniferous trees are needle bearing and they do not. So it's a hardwood by science. It's not necessarily a hard wood. Soundboards are typically cedar or similar species. Bodies are usually something a little bit harder, sapele maybe. So I don't, I've made guitars from kits. I've never made one from scratch. I've built probably 20 kit guitars, but never made one from scratch. So really a luthier, which is a person who specializes in building guitars, they would know without question. But I don't think poplar would be a great choice. I don't think it's going to give you the acoustic characteristics that you're looking for. Well, also on YouTube, there's a question, why haven't we started? But I can see on YouTube the video is playing. So we have. I'm going to jump over to GOA.com, see what we got. All right, we've got a lot of people watching. We don't have any questions yet, so that's okay. I'm going to do a little bit of show and tell. Couple of cool things. I finished an end grain cutting board today. So we don't have Ginny today running the camera, so I'm going to be flying solo. And it's like when people ask me to sing solo, like so low that no one can hear you. Anyway, I'm flying solo, so this will be a little bit cumbersome. I'm going to roll and move and roll and move, but this gives you a little for the shop too. Over to the finishing area. This is going to a charity fundraiser that's happening this weekend. And first time I've used some of the woods in this. This is made up of walnut. It's a little bit hard to see out here on the edge because it's married against the purple heart. But walnut, purple heart, hickory. That's the first time I've ever put that in a cutting board. It is an extremely hard wood. So I think a great end grain cutting board choice. Maple, and then rinse and repeat. Walnut, maple, hickory, purple heart. I'm really happy with the look. Ginny actually helped me with the layout on this to get this particular configuration. So one of the questions we get pretty darn often is finishing cutting boards. And my go-to for this, oh, I already put it away. What a surprise. I'm typically not good at putting stuff away. But my go-to for this is mineral oil. The bottle was there just a few hours ago when I was working in here. Mineral oil is non-toxic. In fact, you buy it in the pharmacy section of the store because it's a laxative. So clearly you can ingest it. It does a good job of sealing up cutting boards. And my approach to this is I put the board up on painter's pyramids. I'm looking at the monitor here so I can see what you can see. I put the cutting board up on painter's pyramids, like so, and then I dump mineral oil on the top of it. And when I say dump, I mean dump. I pool the mineral oil on the top. And then I use a rag and I spread that around, get a relatively even coating on there. And what'll happen within, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, maybe less, that first coat is going to look pretty dry. So I leave the mineral oil wet. I leave it puddled. And it'll soak in and start to look really dry. So then I put more on and more on and more on. And how do I know when I'm done? It's actually really cool. At some point, I've done nothing to the bottom yet, but at some point when I flip, then you'll see the mineral oil start to soak through. It's starting to bleed through the end grain on the bottom. And what I like about that is that tells me I've really saturated the material with a finish, and that's really going to be highly protective. Once I see it seeping from this face, then I wipe the excess off of here and then start applying to this face, basically until it won't take anymore. So this one is, I don't know, I think it ended at just over 1.5 inches thick, and it took, about 3 coats, 3 puddles of mineral oil on there to get it to start to saturate all the way through to the other face. And there's other finishes out there. I'm not saying everybody's got to use mineral oil. I've mixed beeswax and mineral oil. I know there are butcher block specific finishes out there. So there are a lot of other ways you can go. But mineral oil is easily refreshable. The end user can easily clean that up. That's my fly zapper, just was successful over here, cleaning up my shop of flies. Glue to hold these things together, I always default to Titebond 3 for this. Remember that Titebond 2 is water resistant. I got to get it right. Titebond 2 in the blue bottle is water resistant. Titebond 3 is waterproof. For a cutting board like this, I'd rather have that extra insurance that it's waterproof. Hopefully nobody ever puts the cutting board in a dishwasher, but I'd rather have waterproof than water resistant. They're both FDA approved, so in that regard, you're safe either way. But I prefer Titebond 3 for these setups. And then let me show you this other thing I'm excited about. I got to remember where I put it. It's a bowl blank. It's going to be so cool. Hang on, I'm coming back. I didn't abandon you. I'm not leaving you. Hang on. I'm looking for my bowl blank. I got it. All right, let me give you a little context here, because this was pretty fun. My problem with taking sticks to the compost pile in town here is that I come back with more stuff than I'm dropping off. I take sticks and I come back with logs. I really like bowl turning. In my perfect cartoon bubble, I'd much rather turn logs than bowl blanks. So I had this, if I can figure out how that was originally on there, something like that, and that's not right. but you get the picture. There we go. So this thing started life as a log. And when I cut it round, it's maple. When I cut it round, a couple cool things. Look at the grain. The grain itself is pretty. Look at the spalting in there. Isn't that amazing? And then when you look at it in general, there's a branch here. There's all sorts of weird knobby stuff going on. And then what I'm really excited about is this void. And if I had a thingy, like a screwdriver, this void goes to about here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean on people that know more than me about resin. And I want to pack something in here because I don't need resin in the very middle because that's all going to get turned out anyway. So pack that full of, I don't know what, sawdust or paper or something. But then I want to pour a resin on here and maybe give it just a little bit of color. Ginny says mix brass shavings with the resin. That'd be kind of neat. But the brass and the maple will be pretty close in color. So a little blue maybe would be cool, or a little bit of red to get some contrast. But in the end, it'll fill the pith. That's what that is, the pith of the tree. It'll fill that pith with resin and color. And then as a finished product, as a finished bowl, I think that'll be pretty amazing. So I'm really champing at the bit to have time to do this, but it's not going to be soon because I have about 11 million other things I need to do. All right, I'm going to walk back this way. Walk this way. Because my laptop's over there. The only way for me